Khloe Bennet looked out of the moving car's window, watching the urban landscape gradually transform into fields, crops and pastures. At 15 years old, there she was, being dragged to a farm in the countryside. Her father, Thomas, drove silently, occasionally trying to start conversations that invariably died after her monosyllabic replies. "We're almost there," Thomas said, breaking the silence that hung between them. "Do you remember this road? You used to love counting the white fences when you were little." Khloe mumbled something inaudible and returned to staring out the window, adjusting her headphones. Of course, she remembered. Fragments of memories from distant summers flashed through her mind, running through the fields, the smell of freshly cut grass, the feeling of freedom. But that was before. Before her mother got sick, before everything changed. The Bennet estate loomed on the horizon, imposing and nostalgic. The 3-story colonial-style mansion with white columns and expansive porches seemed frozen in time. The gardens, once meticulously tended by her mother Elaine, now showed signs of neglect. "I hired some people to prepare everything for our arrival," Thomas explained as he parked the car. "The house is clean and organized. I thought we could breathe new life into this place together." Khloe rolled her eyes, grabbed her backpack, and got out of the car, heading straight for the entrance. Her phone had no proper signal, and that only increased her irritation. How could her father think that trading city life for this forgotten place was a good idea? Her footsteps echoed through the marble-floored entrance hall. She looked at the immense crystal chandelier, the curved staircase leading to the second floor, and the family portraits on the walls. In one of them, her mother smiled, holding baby Khloe in her arms. She quickly looked away, feeling that familiar pang in her chest. "Your room is just as you left it the last time we were here," Thomas said, carrying 2 suitcases. "We just replaced the bed with a bigger one and refreshed the paint. I thought you'd like to decorate it your way." "Whatever," replied Khloe, climbing the stairs. "I don't plan to stay long anyway." The room was larger than she remembered, with wide windows overlooking the fields and, in the distance, a small village. The walls were painted in a soft shade of blue, her favourite colour as a child. A new lightwood desk was positioned near the window, and the queen-sized bed looked comfortable with a pastel-toned quilt. Khloe threw her backpack on the bed and sat down, exhausted not only from the trip, but from the emotional burden of the past year. Her mother's death after a long battle with cancer had left a void that seemed impossible to fill. Her father, immersed in work to cope with his own grief, had become almost a stranger. And now, this sudden move to the family farm, a place laden with memories, seemed like a desperate and ill-conceived attempt to fix something irreparable. A soft knock on the door pulled her out of her thoughts. "Miss Bennet?" "I'm Martha, the housekeeper. I was wondering if you need anything." A middle-aged lady with grey hair tied in a bun and a kind expression smiled from the door. "I'm fine," Khloe replied curtly. "And I prefer that you don't enter my room." The woman's expression faltered for a moment. "Of course I apologise. Dinner will be served at 7. Your father asked me to let you know." When Martha withdrew, Khloe felt a slight remorse for her harshness, but quickly ignored it. She hadn't asked to be there. She hadn't asked for any of this. The following days established a pattern of behaviour that quickly became unsustainable. Despite her attempts to please, Martha was fired after Khloe complained that her clothes had been folded incorrectly and that the orange juice at breakfast was too bitter. "She doesn't know how to do anything right," Khloe protested during a silent dinner with her father, "and she enters my room without permission." Thomas sighed, massaging his temples. "Khloe, Martha has worked for our family for years. Your mother adored her." "Well, my mother is not here anymore, is she?" The response came out sharper than intended, and the silence that followed weighed like lead. Martha was replaced by Greta, a younger and more energetic woman who lasted only 3 days after Khloe accused her of tampering with her personal belongings when, in fact, the maid had only put away the books Khloe had left scattered on the floor. Then came Eleanor, who was dismissed for serving cold coffee. And then Patricia for, looking strangely at Khloe. Each new maid lasted less than the previous one, while Thomas watched helplessly as his daughter pushed away anyone who tried to get close. "Khloe, we need to talk," said Thomas after the fourth dismissal in a week. "I understand that you're suffering, I am too, but we can't continue like this." "I don't want to talk," she replied, getting up from the table. "Besides, why do we need these people invading our privacy? I can take care of myself." Thomas shook his head, exhausted. "I received a call from headquarters. There's a serious problem with one of the international contracts, and I need to travel early tomorrow morning. I tried to postpone it, but it's impossible." "Sure it is," Khloe murmured, not hiding her bitterness. "Work always comes first, doesn't it?" "It's not fair to say that," Thomas replied, hurt. "I'm trying, Khloe. Really." "Whatever. When are you coming back?" "In 2 days. I've already hired someone else to stay with you. She'll arrive tomorrow." "I don't need a babysitter." "She's not a babysitter, she's a housekeeper. And please give her a chance." Khloe did not respond. She merely went up to her room, slamming the door hard enough to make the walls tremble. The next morning, Thomas left early, leaving a note with instructions and emergency numbers. Khloe ignored it, preferring to have breakfast alone in the vast kitchen. The house was too quiet, almost oppressive in its empty grandeur. When the doorbell rang around 10 in the morning, Khloe answered reluctantly. It was the new housekeeper, a woman in her 40s with a confident smile and piercing gaze. "Good morning, Miss Bennet. I am Regina, the new housekeeper." "Fine," replied Khloe, letting her in. "Just don't mess with my stuff and don't bother me." The woman nodded, not seeming intimidated. "As you wish. I've prepared a list of tasks for today and would like to know your lunch preferences." 2 hours later, Khloe had already found reasons to complain. Regina spoke too loudly on the phone, had moved the glasses in the display cabinet, and hadn't cleaned the dust off the sideboards properly. "I don't think this is going to work," Khloe announced, arms crossed at the kitchen entrance. "You can leave." Regina stopped cutting the vegetables and looked directly at her. "I have a signed employment contract with your father. And I'm telling you, you're fired. Get out of my house." After a brief discussion, Regina gathered her things and left, leaving Khloe alone in the mansion once again. The feeling of victory was short-lived. Soon the silence began to weigh on her. She tried watching television, but nothing held her attention. She rummaged through the fridge but wasn't hungry. In the afternoon, she decided to go out to the back porch with a book. The heat was intense and she hadn't eaten properly all day. After a few minutes of reading under the sun, a sudden dizziness made her drop the book. She tried to stand up, but her legs gave way. The last thing she saw before everything went dark was the blue sky spinning above her. She didn't know how long she was unconscious. A gentle voice called her name, and cool hands touched her face. "Hey, are you okay? Can you hear me?" Khloe slowly opened her eyes, finding herself face to face with the worried look of a young woman seemingly her age, with brown hair tied in a braid and gentle brown eyes. What happened?" Khloe murmured, trying to sit up. "You fainted. I found you here on the porch when I came to deliver the fruits. Drink some water." The young woman offered a glass, which Khloe accepted with trembling hands. Only then did she notice a wicker basket full of fresh fruits beside them. "I am Lydia," the young woman introduced herself. "From the village down there. I bring fruits and vegetables to the houses in the region twice a week." "Khloe," she replied, still confused. "Thank you for the water. Are you alone here? You don't look well. Maybe we should call someone." "I am alone. My father is traveling and will be back tomorrow." Lydia frowned, concerned. "It's not good for you to be alone in this state. You might faint again." She hesitated for a moment before suggesting, "Why don't you come with me? I can take you to my house until you feel better. It's not far, and my mother makes a soup that cures any ailment." Khloe's first instinct was to refuse. Go to a stranger's house? No way. But there was something in Lydia's sincere gaze that made her hesitate. and the idea of spending the night alone in the mansion after having fainted didn't seem safe. "All right," she finally agreed, surprising herself. "I just need to grab a few things." 20 minutes later, Khloe was accompanying Lydia down a dirt path that wound its way down the hill towards the small village nestled in the valley. The fresh breeze helped clear her mind, and she began to notice details: the scent of wildflowers, the distant sound of a stream, the birdsong. "Is it all right if I ask what happened?" Lydia inquired gently. "You seem to be going through something difficult." Khloe almost automatically responded with some evasive answer, as she had been doing for months. Instead, she surprised herself by saying, "My mother died last year. Cancer. My father decided we should start over here on the farm, away from the city." "I'm sorry," Lydia replied with genuine sincerity. "It must be very difficult." No more invasive questions, no unsolicited advice, just understanding. Khloe felt something loosen in her chest. The village was just like the stories in children's books. Colourful houses with blooming gardens, a central square with a bandstand, children playing freely in the cobblestone streets. People waved at Lydia, looking curiously at Khloe, but in a friendly manner. Lydia's house was a simple 2-story building, painted in faded yellow, with a wooden porch and a small front garden full of sunflowers. When they entered, Khloe was enveloped by the aroma of fresh bread and something sweet baking in the oven. "Mum, I brought a friend," called Lydia, guiding Khloe into the cosy kitchen where a middle-aged woman was kneading dough on the wooden table. "Welcome, dear," the woman smiled, wiping her hands on the apron. "I'm Helena, Lydia's mother." "This is Khloe," Lydia explained. "She's staying at the Bennett mansion alone. I found her fainted on the porch. I don't think she's been eating properly." "Heavens!" exclaimed Helena, immediately guiding Khloe to a chair. "We'll take care of you, dear. Daniel, bring a glass of juice for our guest." A boy of approximately 10 years old appeared running, followed by a younger girl. Both looked curiously at Khloe as the boy served fresh orange juice. "These are my younger siblings, Daniel and Sophie," Lydia introduced. Lydia's family welcomed her as if she were an old friend. Helena insisted that she have a generous plate of vegetable soup, while Lydia's father, a kind man named Robert, arrived from working in the fields and joined them for dinner. It was the first family meal Khloe had experienced since her mother's death. Everyone sitting together at the table, sharing stories of the day, laughing. No one looked at their phone, no one seemed rushed. It was simple, it was real. After dinner, Lydia showed Khloe where her room was. It was small, with 2 single beds, shelves full of books, and small objects collected over the years. The walls were painted light green, and there were drawings and photographs everywhere. "You can have that bed," Lydia pointed out. "I hope you don't mind sharing the room." "Not at all," Khloe replied, genuinely grateful. "Your room is very cozy." While Lydia searched for some borrowed nightclothes, Khloe observed the objects in the room. There were shells, colourful stones and beaded bracelets. On the walls, children's drawings, some yellowed with time. One in particular caught her attention: 2 girls holding hands drawn with crayons in childish strokes. There was a name written underneath in crooked letters: Khloe and Lydia, friends forever. Khloe felt as if someone had shocked her. She picked up the drawing with trembling hands, studying it more closely. Memories began to return, fragmented but vivid. She and a girl with a braid running through the fields, picking wild berries, playing hide-and-seek among the trees. "I see you found our drawing," Lydia said softly, returning to the room. "I never took it from there." We knew each other?" Khloe asked, feeling disoriented. Lydia sat on the bed, smiling nostalgically. "Don't you remember? During the summer holidays when you came to the farm with your parents, we were about 6 years old when we met. Your mother would bring you to the village to buy sweets, and one day you saw me playing in the garden. You asked if you could join me." The memories now flowed like a river after the thaw. Khloe remembered everything: the sunny days running through the fields, the afternoons exploring the stream, the picnics under the big tree. Lydia had been her best friend during those golden summers. "What happened?" Khloe asked, feeling tears forming in her eyes. "Why did we stop seeing each other?" "You stopped coming," Lydia replied without accusation in her voice. "One day I received a letter from you saying you wouldn't come back to the farm because your father was very busy with work," I replied, "but I never received a response." Khloe then remembered. Her parents had started arguing more. Her father was working more, and visits to the farm became rarer until they stopped completely. She was 10 years old when she wrote that letter. "I'm sorry," murmured Khloe. "I forgot. How could I forget something so important?" "Life happens," Lydia said gently, sitting down next to her. "People change, they grow. But when I saw you today, even after so much time, something in me knew it was you." That night, lying in Lydia's bed, listening to the soft sounds of the sleeping house and the occasional distant howl of a dog, Khloe felt a peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. The room was simple, the bed less comfortable than her own, but there was a warmth that no luxury could buy. For the first time since her mother's death, she slept deeply, without nightmares. The next morning, she woke to the sound of children's laughter and the irresistible aroma of freshly baked cake. For a moment she felt disoriented until the memories of the previous day returned. She sat up in bed, observing the room with fresh eyes, now recognizing the elements of her childhood shared with Lydia. She went downstairs to find the family gathered in the kitchen. Helena was serving generous slices of cinnamon cake, while Daniel and Sophie excitedly talked about a bird's nest they had discovered. "Good morning, sleepyhead," Lydia smiled. "Are you feeling better?" "Much better," Khloe replied sincerely. "Thank you for everything." After breakfast, Lydia suggested a walk to the creek. "Remember how we used to love playing there? It's still exactly the same as before." The path to the creek was like travelling back in time. With each step, more memories returned. The stones they used to cross the water, the hollow tree where they hid treasures, the field of daisies where they made flower crowns. "This was our secret place," Lydia pointed to a small clearing among the trees. "Remember the oath we made? We said that no matter what happened, we would always be friends." Khloe nodded, feeling a strong emotion overwhelm her. "I broke that promise." "No, you didn't break," Lydia replied softly. "You were just away for a while. But you're here now, aren't you?" Sitting by the edge of the stream with their feet in the cool water, the two talked for hours. Khloe spoke about her years in the city, about her mother's illness, about how she had distanced herself from everyone after the loss. Lydia talked about life in the village, her dreams of studying medicine, the comfort of having her family always close by. "Do you know what your mother used to say when she came here?" Lydia suddenly asked. "What?" "She used to say that this place had magic, not the fairy tale kind, but the true magic of life. The people, nature, the time to simply exist. She loved watching you run free, just being a child." Khloe felt the tears returning. She adored this place. She always said that here she felt completely alive. "That's why your father came back, isn't it? To reconnect with that part of her, and maybe to reconnect with a part of himself too." The revelation hit Khloe hard. Her father wasn't punishing her with the move. He was trying to heal himself, to heal both of them, by returning to a place where they had been truly happy. When they returned to Lydia's house in the late afternoon, they found a car parked in front. Thomas Bennett was on the porch talking nervously with Helena. "Dad!" called Khloe, running towards him. Thomas turned, the relief evident on his face. "Khloe, thank God you're okay. I came back early and was frantic when I didn't find you at home." To the surprise of both, Khloe hugged her father tightly. "Sorry for worrying you, and sorry for everything." Thomas hugged his daughter back, confused but grateful. "Everything is okay now." During dinner, which Helena insisted Thomas share with them, Khloe observed her father relaxing for the first time in months. He laughed at Robert's stories, conversed easily with the children, and occasionally looked at Khloe with an expression of happy surprise as he watched her interacting naturally with everyone. When it was time to leave, Khloe promised Lydia that she would return the next day. "We have a lot of time to catch up on." On the way back to the mansion, Khloe broke the silence. "Did you know that Lydia was my childhood friend?" Thomas smiled, his eyes on the road. "I suspected as much when Helena mentioned that you knew each other from before. Then I remembered how you and Lydia were inseparable during those summers." "Why did we stop coming?" Thomas sighed. "Things got complicated between your mother and me. Too much work, wrong priorities. When I finally realized my mistakes and wanted to come back, your mother was already ill." He paused, swallowing hard. "She always said we should return, that this place was special. I promised her we would." Khloe nodded, finally understanding. "Thank you for bringing us back." The next morning, Khloe woke up early and went down to the kitchen where she found her father making coffee. "Good morning," she smiled, grabbing 2 cups from the cabinet. "Need any help?" Thomas looked surprised but nodded with a smile. "Sure. I was thinking of making pancakes." As they worked side by side, Khloe said, "I've been thinking, maybe we really do need someone to help around the house. It's too big for us to handle alone." "You're right," agreed Thomas. "Any suggestions?" "Actually, yes. Lydia's mother, Helena, makes the best cakes I've ever tasted. And she knew Mum." Thomas smiled, understanding what was unsaid. "I will talk to her today." In the days that followed, the Bennett mansion gained new life. Helena accepted the job as the housekeeper, bringing with her the aroma of fresh cakes and the tranquil wisdom that had greatly helped Khloe. Lydia became a constant presence, rekindling a friendship that had never really died. In her room, Khloe hung the old drawing that Lydia had given her as a gift. "So you don't forget again," she had said. Next to it, she placed a photo of her mother smiling in the farm's garden. Gradually, the wounds began to heal. Thomas worked to reduce his working hours, dedicating more time to his daughter and the farm. Khloe, in turn, found comfort in happy memories instead of running from them. One Sunday afternoon, while everyone was enjoying a picnic under the big tree near the stream, Thomas, Khloe, Lydia and her family, Khloe looked around and felt a deep certainty. Her mother was right. There was magic in this place, the magic of starting over, of healing, of remembering that even after the greatest loss, life still had much to offer. And it all began with a simple, forgotten drawing, 2 girls holding hands, and the promise of a friendship that withstood the test of time. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.